Next question comes from Morris High School, and the question is, do you advocate violence in order to bring about political change, and why?
No. Firstly, I believe, my fundamental belief, basic human nature is gentleness. Of course, the aggressiveness also part of human nature, but basic, I think, dominant, I think, nature, and more important part of the nature, I feel, the appreciation of human affection. Even, I think, in our blood, there is some kind of, the element which appreciate or which need human affection. So that's from the time of, the conception and time of birth, and particularly, during, the young age. Say, from the time of birth, then next, I think, 1 or 2 years or more, I think the human affection is the most important factor in order to develop the physical properly. So therefore, the basic human nature is more gentleness. So human affection is the very, very important factor for in human life. In fact, I think the human survival very much related with the human affection. Now, therefore, you see, the more violent activities or violent way of thinking, very bad for our health. Of course, killing, obviously, they shorten our life. Then mentally also, the hatred, anger, you see, these are very bad for our health. So other side, non-violence. Non-violence means not just mere absence of violence, but non-violence is very much related with motivation, more compassionate motivation, sense of caring, sense of respect, or sense of acknowledgement others' right, right of happiness. These things are the I think basis of non-violence. So therefore, the non-violence is very much related with basic human nature. So therefore, violence, I believe, against human nature. Then another thing, if we look history, very often the certain solution through violence that often create side effect. And then also the violence, once you committed violence, at the beginning, you may have the intention of the plan, the limited violence. But once you commit it, violence always unpredictable. So once you committed violence, it may develop violence, counter-violence, then limitless violence. Then another thing, now today's world, reality, especially in the field of economy. Now, you see, your neighbor's economy is ultimately your own as a benefit. Economy, in economy field, no national boundary. So therefore, the destruction of your neighbor is destruction of yourself. The more progress, more as the prosperity in your neighbor ultimately benefit to yourself. So from that viewpoint, almost I think the concept of we and they is gone. We have to treat it others' interest as if your own interest. So therefore, violence means one side destroy, one side victory. Now you can't gain that way now today. Things are very much interdependent and very much interconnected. Therefore, the dialogue or compromise, that's the, I think, only practical way of solution. And in previous time, when you are, your interest is something completely independent from others' interest, then at that time, destruction of your neighbor, destruction of your enemy is victory of yourself. But now today, not that way. So destruction of your neighbor is destruction of yourself. So usually I telling the people, if there is the possibility to achieve 100% or say 90% victory yourself, then violence could be justified. But now today, no longer that situation. So the thing is the 50-50. Your interest and others or your enemy's interest, you can't destroy the others. If that destruction, eventually your own suffering. So therefore, the 50-50, if possible, our side 60%, the other side 40%. I think that's best. So therefore, the only thing is dialogue, talk, and respect or keep in your mind the others' interest, others' benefit. So while we promote the spirit of non-violence, we have to introduce or we have to promote the spirit of dialogue. I hope this is a sort of mental training, non-violence, and spirit of dialogue. I think from kindergarten. I think from the kindergarten, in the minds of the student, from the young age, I think it is worthwhile make familiarize in their mind. Violence is insoluble sort of way.
Not the right solution.
Not right solution. Through violence, you can't solve the problem. So the only thing is dialogue. So I wish this is a part of their lesson, some kind of some quarrel between one single two person or group of people, two groups. Then try to compromise. So therefore, I feel violence is always bad. Theoretically speaking, under certain circumstances, limited violence could be justified, but that is too dangerous. So therefore, I always prefer non-violence.